Could one nation win Hunter? Let's have a look. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this wonderful day where the sky feels much more bluer than normal. We've survived through the election, and I thought we'd have a look at one seat, Hunter, in New South Wales, just north of Sydney. Now, this is a seat where Stuart Bonds was running, and he's a fan of the channel, so I rang him up this morning to congratulate him about his fantastic primary result. Now, the media did a number on good old Stuart because, he's covered in tats, he's a businessman, a family man, and he's not the type of politician you'd normally expect, which is exactly the type of politician we want in Parliament these days. I mean, he's a new dad. Good on him. I told him he needs to keep having more kids. It's awesome. It's great. You'll love it. But yeah, so they did a number on him, and it sounds like that may have worked to his advantage. So Hunter's been in Labor hands since it was created, pretty much for over 100 years. Okay, for 100 years, and it's a big mining and rural area. So can you imagine the result? The Labor policies are going over so well. So let's have a look at the results at the moment. And I'll just zoom in here. You can see this is where it stands right now. So Josh Angus is at 47.42 and Joel Fitzgibbon is at 52.58. So the AC and ABC, they're all giving it to Labor. Now, I would say that could be, because look at the swing he's had against him, negative 9.88%, which is insane. I would say that's probably got more to do with the problem that all of their systems and modeling is set up on a two-candidate preferred basis and doesn't really analyze it to the amount of depth that you'd need to for a third party to come in, because it's a bit of a wild card. Because let's have a look at the results as they stand. I got this morning. So 64 of 72 polling places have returned results. Now, Stuart from Polling Hanson's One Nation has got 18,683 primary votes, and that's a swing of 21.95% in favor. That is insane. That's insane. Like Independent Man, I think he was getting about 3% down in the Gold Coast region as a House of Reps. So getting up to 20% for a minor party is just crazy, and that's a mammoth achievement for him. That really is. So that's why I rang him up. But what he told me is that because he had his team captains at all the booths at pre-polling. So he thinks that the word is, pre-polling is looking positive for him. So that could be some more votes. So I thought we'd use this as a good little exercise to get a bit of understanding of how could he possibly win the seat, because he'd only got 18,000 votes. The Nationals have 20,000. Animal Justice, 2.5. The UAP, 3.5. Greens, 5.5. Christian Democrats, 1,009. And then Labor, 3,200 or 32,000. Okay, but look at that drop. That's insane. Wow, 14% drop from him. So they're not happy. And even the Socialist Equality Party got 572. So let's have a look. And that's 92,000 votes. So there's still another about 8,000 or 7,500 pre-polling votes or postal votes that haven't been counted. Because remember, each electorate, each division is equal to 100,000 people. Oh, no, there you go, 121,000 people. So turnout was 76% and informality was, 8%. Okay. So let's have a look. First, preferences by type. So yeah, there you go. We've gone through that. But what I thought we'll do is we will play in some Excel. That's right. We're going to use some Excel to adjust the votes. So how it works with preferences is that, the lowest one is first cut off. So Max Bodie, he's lost. Okay, so he's not in the running anymore. So we will grey him out a little bit. Okay, so he's gone. So his 572 votes, where do you think they'll go? Where do you think we can't say this for certain, but just, I would imagine it'd be fairly safe to say that they're not going to the Nationals or One Nation or UAP. Some will go to Labor, or how about we just say they'll all go to probably the Animal Justice Party, just for all the Greens, one of those. So we'll put this, we'll go delta change. we'll say half of this guy's votes go to the Animal Justice Party. So we go that divided by 2. And we'll go the other half go to the Greens. Okay? So he's... Oh, I'm doing it wrong. Divided by 2. So he's been eliminated. We'll do new total. Okay, and we'll do this and how many they've gained there. Just do it here. So he's been eliminated. So right now, you've got the Animal Justice at 2,573 and the Greens at... Hang on. Wait a minute. Sorry. I need to... C5 plus... That. There we go. We'll do negative 572. Okay, so they've got 0. They're out of the running. Their votes haven't changed in that round of counting. Pauline Hanson haven't changed. UAP hasn't changed. Labour hasn't. But you can see now the Animal Justice are up and the Greens are up. So the next one who is eliminated will be the Christian Democrats. So Fred Niles' group here. So he's got 1,907 votes. Now, where do you think those votes would go? Would they go to the Animal Justice or the Greens? Well, no, I don't think they would. Labour, oh, maybe. Maybe we'll say 0.1%. 1%. Oh, I don't think any of them will go to Labour, honestly. No, not if they're Christian. UAP, maybe some. Go maybe 5. Half of that times the UAP. And we'll say the rest go to Pauline Hanson's One Nation. So that divided by 2. Okay, just as a thing. Actually, what's that? Okay. So this is the change of votes. So we're going 9, I don't know, 54, 9, 52. Okay? Oh, 53. We'll say that's the spread. And Socialists are out of the running. Nationals didn't get any. Just out of chance. So let's have a look at this change. So it's that plus that. We'll scroll down. And they're out of the running, so it's negative 1907. So they're gone. So they've been eliminated. 2 parties have been eliminated. And these are the new totals that we're running. So you can see here now Pauline Hanson's One Nation is catching up to the Nationals. Okay. So let's see who is next. The Animal Justice Party. Okay, so where do you think the Animal Justice Party will go? Because they're out of the runnings. Where do you think most of their preferences would go? I'm just going to say the Greens, honestly, because, I mean, come on. Negative. They'd either go to the Socialists, but then the preferences after the Socialists, because they've already been eliminated, will probably feed into the Greens. So say you put Animal Justice first and then Socialists second. Because the Socialists are already gone, and then it'll go to your third one, and let's just pretend that they're all going to the Greens. I mean, that's a pretty reasonable assumption for me to make. I mean, come on. So, you know, UAP isn't getting any. Pauline Hanson isn't getting any. The Nationals aren't getting any. Okay. So let's redo the sums. Plus that. So this difference between these two is getting a lot less, isn't it? So who do we have next? The United Australia Party, the UAP. Now, if you're voting for Clive, where do you think the majority of your votes are going to go? Where do you think the majority are going to go? Let's say half go to Nationals. And let's say another half go to the UAP. Zero to there, they're out. Oh, they're negative 412, 0, 0. Okay. But okay, now look at that difference. But let's say it's not half. I mean, why are you voting for Clive if you're pissed off at what do you call it? At the Nationals. So let's say he gets 80% of their vote. Oh wait, no, they get 20%. And One Nation get 80% of that vote. Now what's happened? If you have a look here, that number's flipped. And remember, this is not before we're counting any of the pre-polling that hasn't come in yet. Okay, so if he gets 80% of the Palmer guys, that's flipped. And then who's cut off next? Who are these ones? The Greens. So let's just, I mean, come on. Greens is always to Labour, isn't it? So -8645. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. The sums, that plus that. So the Labour's at 40,000 votes. Greens are gone. But who's the next lowest? The Nationals. Now, if you're a Nationals voter, who are you going to preference? Labour or One Nation? Who are you going to preference, Labour or One Nation? I'd put my money on the fact that you would preference One Nation. Okay? Then, if we have that, look at the election results there. So, could Stuart Bonds be One Nation's first House of Representative candidate? Could he have pulled it off? He was telling me some of his friends bet money on him when it was like insane amount to 1 or something. So it could be. And say we've got another, I don't know, 10,000 other votes coming in. So if it distributes along the same thing, or if One Nation is slightly ahead, or generally the Conservatives, these two will be slightly ahead on the pre-polling votes. How can that affect this as well? It could work in his favor. So that's a way with each round of counting how your preferences work, how they're distributed, and it's depending on where people go to vote. Okay, because the how to vote cards, a lot of people actually follow them. They'll just do the how to vote cards because it's just easier for them, or they'll be all over the place. So yeah, I thought I would share this. I thought it's quite interesting. The media really isn't picking up on it. No one's discussing it. They're just still claiming that it'll be a Labour victory. I think this would send a fantastic message to Labour that a lot of their policies, particularly to do with, de-calling Australia and all these environmental policies affecting the regions, could cost them seats. Could cost them a seat that's 100 years old, that they've had for that long. If Bonds manages to pull that off, that is a bloody amazing achievement. And I think that'd be fantastic. That'd be really good. Really good to see. Really good to see. It'd just be that lies. Now Shorty's crying and he took forever to admit defeat. At least he didn't do a Hillary. Good on you, Bill. And this would be the final nail in the coffin. It just shows you what happens when you neglect a region, when you get too complacent with sitting there. But we'll see. It may not happen. It's come close before. But I thought this would be a good lesson just to explain preferencing and how the votes move around generally, depending on how it goes. And this is the same thing will happen in the Senate too. It'll be the lowest one will be cut off, and then your second preference and your third. So that's why it's important that people learn how to use preferences and how to take advantage of it, because it's powerful and you're fortunate. You're fortunate. Because regardless, if Bonds doesn't get in and Nationals get in, Josh, you need to seriously pay attention to what One Nation have been saying and the crowd they've drawn. You really need to if you've got any chance at all. Any chance at all. Anyway, guys, I thought this would be a bit of interesting election follow up. You know, there's some other seats in doubts, but I thought this is the most exciting one just to go through and see, particularly that it wouldn't just be the Greens as a minor party having someone in the House of Reps. This, you know, be good to see One Nation getting someone in there. And remember, everyone, Queensland, Tasmania, and Western Australia, we saved you all. We saved you from the Victorian socialist apocalypse. Anyway, guys, please like, share, and subscribe. Ding the bell to see my daily updates, and I'll see you all again tomorrow. Bye for now.